Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the secret behind the conversation. My name is Leah Guerrero, your host. Thank you for joining us. Across Asia, something remarkable is happening. The region is rapidly becoming one of the most advanced environments for conversational AI, with over 2.6 billion internet users across APAC and messaging penetration exceeding 80% of smartphone users in markets like India, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Conversational interfaces have effectively become the primary way businesses engage with customers. As a result, many organizations here aren't just experimenting with AI, they're operationalizing it. They're moving from pilots to production using conversational AI to manage high service volumes, deliver faster support, and create more natural customer interactions. In today's session, we'll explore what's driving this momentum, what it takes to design customer-centric AI experiences, and what lessons companies can learn from real deployments by delving into an example of conversational AI being successfully launched. We'll be joined by Paul Flores from PesoRedee, who will walk us through how their organization implemented GenAI to support tens of thousands of customer conversations each month. We also have Julian Dawkins from Infobip, who will share insights into the regional opportunity for conversational AI. And we'll also hear from Mani Prakash from Infobip, who will discuss how companies continuously optimize these systems. And should you have a question for any of our speakers, feel free to use the Q&A section. We'll cover as much as we can as long as the time permits. And be sure to click the button above the screen to access some exclusive materials to aid you in your conversational AI discovery. Let's begin. To start, let's zoom out at the bigger picture and discover why conversational AI is accelerating so quickly across Asia. APAC's digital economy is expanding rapidly, with messaging becoming the primary interface for how businesses and customers interact. So, to unpack what's driving this shift is Julian Dawkins from Infobit. Julian works closely with organizations across the region and will help us understand who Infobip is and why Asia is moving from AI experimentation to real-world deployment so quickly. Hi, Julian. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Leah. How's it going? Good to be with you.
Yeah, so nice to see you. So, Julian, tell us more about Infobip and the role it plays in conversational AI.
Yeah, absolutely. So, listen, Infobip is one of those companies that you maybe don't know necessarily by name, but it's definitely there working away in the background, right? So we've been around for around 20 years, and we've been in the intersects between businesses of all different types, from retail, automotive, travel, FMCG, airlines. We help those businesses connect with their end users, whoever they might be. So it could be travelers, patients, doctors, could be local citizens, for example. We are the infrastructure that provides the communication backbone for all of those businesses to reach those end consumers wherever they are in the world. And we handle something like 500 billion interactions every year. So we like to think we know a thing or two about customer engagement, right? There's so many different learnings and golden nuggets, as I like to call them, that we get from our customer communities. We've been around for, like I said, around 20 years. You can see on mine and Manny's background that we're celebrating. But instead of me talking about it for a little bit longer, how about I just show you a quick video, and that'll give you a nice little overview of who Infobip are exactly. So maybe we can run that.
Yeah, sounds good.
20 years ago, we started a conversation, and the whole world joined in. It began in a small town on the Adriatic. A few lines of code, one SMS, and a simple belief that technology should bring people closer. From that very first message to hundreds of billions sent every year, we've helped people and brands connect across every corner of the globe, on every channel that matters. We've powered growth through co-creation, built networks, strengthened communities, scaled startups, forged partnerships, nurtured talent. Along the way, we changed how people communicate, And still, 20 years in, we are just starting. Now that we've got the whole world talking, there's no turning back. Infobip, one communication platform, billions of conversations, 20 years.
Yeah, so that in a nutshell is InfoBip. We're a grassroots organization who's bootstrapped from a small town in Croatia into this global communication force. And it's such a privilege to learn all the insights from the customers that we serve around the world. And again, a privilege to have the likes of Paul with us today from one of our customers, PesoRedee, to talk about it later, show the impact and influence that we have on businesses around the world.
Mm. Okay, tell us more. Go ahead, Julian. I believe you have a presentation ready for us. A few slides here.
Yeah, so if we jump to the next couple of slides, actually, we from this one, we'll look at some of the uh, influences that are driving the APAC market, right? And the title of today is, what's the secret behind customer engagement? What is it, especially about the APAC region, that is making them lead when it comes to interactions, when it comes to engagement, when it comes to innovation as well? And one of the first caveats is around the large population that is highly engaged and is already deemed to be a messaging first population as well. So that means that conversational engagement really feels natural for users, right? And they're accustomed to speaking to brands already over the phone using different conversational channels. And within the APAC region, you have a really rich ecosystem, one of the richest in the world, in fact. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of diversity in terms of the channels available. There's Viber, there's Kakao, there's WhatsApp, there's WeChat, and we'll get into those numbers in a
Mm.
little bit so I can show you just what that penetration looks like. So consumers are already well versed to interact with businesses through those platforms, and alike, businesses are already well informed to interact with end users through those channels as well. With these brands using conversational channels as their front door, they're investing kind of away from traditional communication channels such as websites and apps, and they're moving more towards these conversational channels to get things done. So customers, end users like you and I, we simply send a message to get things done. So, I would like to know an order update. I use WhatsApp to message the brand. Now, I would like to set up a new account. I'd like to register. Okay, I will speak through a Viber in order to get that done. So, messaging has been leveraged for the demographics, not only for large cities within the APAC region, which are highly populated, but also for those in rural communities as well. So that's one of the that's really helped with the adoption of conversational engagement over the time. Another thing is that the consumers within the APAC region, those of you who've joined on the call as well, the audience, you have a really high digital appetite as well. So you're expecting that 24/7 always on engagement. You're expecting that personalization. And you're one of the trickiest consumers to keep hold on as well, because you're always like your allegiance to a certain brand might be diluted. So you're always looking at a fast way to switch from a different brand. If you get a bad experience on one, you're more than happy to switch over to another brand the next day. Another one of the secrets, if you like, as to why this region's leading the race is that the infrastructure is backed really well. So businesses see AI as a way to keep ahead of competitors in terms of innovation. Yeah, so
Mm.
how can we make sure that we moat ourselves against the rest? Well, we have to have a culture of AI experimentation. So that's been adopted really well across the region,
Yeah.
and it means that you're more likely to push things fast. And then kind of last category is around operational efficiency as well,
Mm.
right? Automation from AI is helping reduce the workloads of companies serving large, diverse consumer sets, right? So it's
Mm.
taking out all of that grunt work that is often involved in setting up infrastructure, serving and responding to customers in a timely manner, and is solving a majority of low level, medium tasks as well. So if you like, this is a snapshot of the some of the key
Yeah.
reasons as to why Asia's leading the pack. But I wouldn't say it's so much that you know it's leading because of AI. I would say it's
Mhm.
more that the conditions for AI are are good, and the conditions are set so that AI can thrive in the region.
Yeah, so across Asia, the paths may differ, but the momentum toward AI driven engagement is unmistakable. And I know InfoBit has the capacity to simplify through the complexities of it all. Julian, tell us, what are some of the regional conversational AI trends that we've witnessed across Asia versus other parts of the world?
Yeah, good question. I think it's good for us to reflect, right, and take off the blinkers, if you like, where we're just looking at the APAC region and look at what else is trending across the world
Mm,
when it comes to conversational AI. And a bit of a disclaimer, these are general rules, general themes that I'm looking at from different parts of the world. As you can imagine, there's always going to be nuances within each. And when
mm,
we're talking about conversational AI, what we're referring to is the way for uh, businesses to leverage things like AI assistants, agentic agents in order to carry out tasks as well, right? So the likes of me and you connecting with a brand over different conversational channels, which is powered by AI, so not by a human. That is what we're referring to here. These are some of the trends. So in North America, I think there's a kind of a traditional approach to AI, and traditional channels like voice and SMS are still very dominant for engagement. So we see conversational AI only appear in the major population hubs in industries like retail and banking. Right, so those are the traditional interfaces that they remain sticking to. LATAM's really exciting to look at actually because it's quite similar to Asia. High WhatsApp penetration, and first often to use for beta features as well. Um, when it comes to APAC, though, you've got to remember that there's specific nuances within the region as well. So there's kind of like two models operating. One is the ANZ model, right, where conversational systems are expected to integrate already with back end systems. So CRM, ERP, pricing is expected to connect to that to provide connective conversations, but adhere to strict governance as well. And ANZ also expect to have always on human oversight, whereas the South APAC model, so the likes of Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, are more willing to launch AI systems earlier and iterate later. So they focus on deployments that are niche, that are quick, and they mainly revolve around customer services, transactions, and high volume automation. And then if we jump to the next slide, I can tell you a little bit about some of the other nuances we see within the region, right? So we already know that there's rich channel diversity and that WhatsApp has high penetration. But in terms of the use cases, we find that AI assistants are the most popular type of conversational deployment, and they answer your FAQs, they help with troubleshooting, they help with support requests. But what we're seeing a lot more are companies within Asia shift from the AI assistants, which are very much grounded in the infrastructure, into what we say are AI agents. And these can perform tasks autonomously without any human input whatsoever. So AI agents are like the bread and butter, and AI agents are coming in to handle tasks like orchestrating marketing campaigns, um, handle the entire conversational commerce piece, and they can detect when messages shouldn't be sent to a customer based on a previous transaction. They can push the a message to the user at the exact right moment of time when they're most likely to engage. And I would say, credit to the APAC region as well, because it's understood where those challenges are. Uh, One of the ways to optimize APAC is to optimize AI is to make sure that your knowledge base is in the right space, right? And many companies within APAC were using as a knowledge base to upload in the documentation, they were using like pictograms rather than text. And AI finds that really difficult to fetch the right information from, right? Because it likes it to be in a text format. And what APAC companies have done recently is because they demand such a high accuracy of response. I'm talking about a 95% accuracy hit rate. They've changed the documentation now, so it's more text based. So that really helps the AI become more proficient in answering questions. So yeah, these are some of the trends that we're seeing from the region.
Thank you, Julia. And you've just given us a solid overview of the regional momentum behind conversational AI. And I'm sure the conversation will keep going and going. But of course, theory only gets us so far. The real question is, what does this look like in practice? So now we're going to hear from a company that's already deploying AI at scale. Joining us is Mr. Paul Flores from PesoRedee, who will walk us through their journey implementing Gen AI and customer service. Hi, Paul. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Leah and Julian, as well as Manny. Yeah, for
Yes.
everyone on the webinar, good afternoon from the Philippines. So, let me start with telling you all about PesoRedee, and as well as OLP. I am the IT head for both organizations. We are a lending platform, web-only lending platform, one of the first here in the Philippines. Combined, we have been in the business for about 15 years already. Our customer base is around, I believe, 2 to 300,000 customers as well combined. Recently, the entire industry has been getting a lot of bad feedback, but I am happy to say that PesoRedee and OLP is fully compliant, and it is our mandate to be the leader, one of the leaders of compliance here in the Philippines. It's a very easy target right now in the Philippines. Anyway, enough about myself. With InfoBeep's Gen AI, it actually was going to help us solve a problem with attrition. The any company would experience attrition. It's natural for that to happen, particularly with the customer service positions. What's the most painful and sad things is when people leave, they take away valuable skills that they have learned here or they have experienced here specifically, and those things you really can't train for. It's time, it's experience, it's the entire journey that they're going to be taking away with them, and looking for someone else to fill those shoes is very difficult. Getting them trained to that level of what these people what the people they're going to be replacing with you won't get that level of performance. And even if you do, there's going to be a problem where they're going to be asking for more because they're getting better. It's natural that they're going to be asking for more. And then you go back to that vicious cycle of losing these people, and they're always going to be looking for greener pastures. It's natural, but it also causes pain for the organization. And so that's where we looked at InfoBeat for a possible solution. Um, it was good timing that Infobeep was introducing us to GenAI chatbots at the time when we had mass uh, mass resignations, when people were leaving. I believe this was 2 years ago when we had that problem, and we were tired, really tired of just going through that over and over again, and we wanted to just be process based. All right. So what's important is we receive the customers' complaints. We process that. We are going to reply to you. That entire customer service journey. So we had to put our process on paper, and I have to tell you honestly, we didn't have that. Not completely, and I believe a lot of organizations wouldn't have that yet, even if they would want to admit it or not. We had to put everything on paper, the automation begins with everything on black and white. Then we expose that to the GenAI algorithm, and then the easy part is done. The second part is convincing the people who will be upskilled, and this is our plan. The people that stay, that have proven to be assets to the company, we want to bring them up. We want to upskill them so they become architects or quality assurance people. AI makes a lot of mistakes, so we had planned that we would not have downtime anymore. They're available 24/7. That's a big benefit.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
wouldn't we wouldn't be affected so much by attrition, or at least for the level one or level two issues. We wouldn't be affected by attrition. And number three, we had built-in quality assurance. Not just people doing A to B to C to D. Okay, that's the process already. Uh, uh, how do you say this? Fundamental to our Gen AI implementation. So moving on to how it went, uh, we had a lot of old processes that we had to transform from uh, from paper to automation, and that's not really a straight line, not at all, and that involved a lot of work. Aside from that, the participation of the people, the the hardest thing was for them to help them overcome fear
Mm,
that they will be replaced, help them participate with the project, because without them it won't work.
mm,
They are the experts of the process. Even if they put something on paper, it's not going to be how you think when it's going to be executed. And then the persuasion, convincing, the bribery that was happening. That's true. That's true. And uh, candies, food, that kind of bribery.
rewards.
Rewards, incentivization, exactly. Not money, not money.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
we had to overcome that. We It took a lot of time.
Yeah.
Getting people, convincing people to change,
Mm,
to accept would be the better word.
yeah.
That this is happening. That resistance is futile. That resisting this is just not going to help you at all.
Yeah.
It would be better to learn, to make it better, make yourself better.
Yeah.
That was how we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Along the way, so that's the human part. Along the way, it wasn't also easy with the vendor, Infobeat.
Mm,
And I'm not saying anything bad about them, but there were a lot of translation errors and mapping errors. But I am happy to say that uh, it was quick. The process of identifying where we had trouble with was quick. We had dedicated people
mm,
uh, focused on our problems. And at the end of the day, even after you've fixed the human part and you've fixed the machine part, there are still limits to
yeah.
Gen AI. It's not a perfect product. It isn't. Um, we know that we will still evolve, and we will change. We will get better.
Obviously, there's a learning curve for everyone involved, the internal and the external team,
Yes,
as we go along, right? Yeah.
yes. The operational people and the technical people,
Right,
they
right.
had difficulties on their end, but we knew that everyone knew that this is for something better, whether they agreed with it or not. This was for something better. And so let me talk about what we have now. We achieved the mandate for the Gen AI. We are now always online. We have a 24/7 customer service on our website and on our mobile app. The people that we retain, we have given them promotions to chatbot architects, quality assurance people, supervisor levels. What they do is they don't just enhance the process; they enhance the chatbot. They have direct access to upload changes on the chatbot, to train the AI to get better. Uh, and we are on the path of improving this
Mhm.
and uh, addressing weaknesses. So what we lack right now would be talking the local vernacular and idiomatic expressions, those things. That's something that you still have to train. Uh, Translating idioms from one language to the other makes it lose more information, more sense. So contextually
Yeah.
understanding that. That's what we're looking forward to. We have gone through the chatbot with three phases, I believe, and we are on track for a phase four, and that's going to make it easier, much easier to communicate with a chatbot, with a customer service on our end.
Oh, fantastic. Um, and obviously, the concern by some people who aren't used to AI is a natural reaction. But you know what I would think is, be more concerned not of the AI replacing your job, but of that person who knows AI, right? So
Yes,
it's really a matter of upskilling, knowing what's out there and bringing that to your job to make it more efficient. As you mentioned, those who are familiar of AI in your company got their promotions. They stayed
yes,
on. Yeah,
yes. It's better for them. They don't have to be afraid of it. It's a tool. It's an
yeah,
instrument. It's like you're the surgeon, and these are scalpels. These are forceps. Uh, You just use them, but
yeah,
you're the one getting better. A scalpel will stay a scalpel.
right.
It'll just cut.
Yeah, very good analogy. Paul, what is it about your market where your consumers operate that encourages them to engage via AI?
Actually, that's a very good question. As I mentioned, we are a lending platform, and
Mm,
it's money.
yeah.
Okay, people have no sense of humor when it comes to their money. So
Mm,
it's a lot of questions, and they want factual um, answers to their questions. Understanding their questions, that's a feat already. You can have 20 different ways to ask one question.
mm,
So that's one thing that Gen AI does for us. It helps us translate. Um, Going back, we had a tool for addressing Q&A on our platform before. It's a basic Q&A. It tries to read the keywords on chats that would guess if this is what the customer is asking for. It was acceptable, but it could be better.
mm,
With the Gen AI, spelling problems, language problems, putting one word over the other word and just not making sense anymore. That's something that we're happy we don't have to deal with anymore. And by the time it reaches the people, there are still people, the
mm,
QA people, they are still online. Office hours only, of course. By the time it reaches them, you don't waste time
yeah.
giving people fillers.
Mm,
You're going to answer their questions already.
right.
That's a big change.
Mm, mm. What would you have done differently if you were to start from the beginning?
Uh, I think I would have preloaded the convincing of my stakeholders. I think that would have been smoother if
Yeah.
I had done that. I mean, it's like going on a date. So you have to bring a lot of flowers, send some chocolate. You send those ahead before the actual date. That's going
Yeah.
to do a lot.
Right, right. Getting that buy-in,
Yes,
conditioning,
yes,
mindsetting ahead of
yes.
time so that there's less resistance. Because that's some AI is something that will help their jobs, not take it.
No, exactly. It won't take it. It's going to be a long time for that. I don't believe that that AI or robots replacing people in general would happen in our generation. I think it's going to be two or three more generations before that happens. What we have right now is we are at we are I believe we are at that part of the painting where we're drawing pencil marks on the canvas. I think that's where we are right now. The color. hasn't been there, hasn't been applied yet.
Mm.
So foundations, I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah, getting to learn how to hold that pencil and color along the way to help make our jobs easier. Thanks so
Yes,
much, Paul. That was a fantastic example of conversational AI being used in a real high volume environment. And I think
you're welcome.
what's particularly interesting, Paul, is how much thought goes into designing these AI interactions. You mentioned all those nuances so that they feel natural and trustworthy. So, to our
Yes,
viewers, if you have any questions at all for Paul and the rest of our speakers, type away in our chat box. And you can also click on the banner above to get a complimentary one on one conversational strategy AI session with an InfoBip expert in a one-page infographic on conversational AI in Asia, key movements in the region, driving momentum and adoption. That's something you wouldn't want to miss. For the next session, we're going to explore what actually makes an AI conversation work for customers. So Paul is with me. I'm going to bring in Julian back as they walk us through some of the principles behind designing customer-centric Gen AI experiences. Julian, welcome back.
Hey, hey.
Okay, let's
Interesting
begin.
conversation. I like that. I like the chat, and I like the expression of treat it like a date. That's some good advice there, Paul.
Mm, absolutely. We're learning so much. Let's begin. Julian, in messaging dominant markets, what makes an AI conversation feel natural rather than transactional?
Yeah, I think there's a few things that businesses can start looking at to make the conversation feel natural. I said already that um, like APAC consumers, they have a lower barrier to entry, if that makes sense. I.e., they're fine with completing a task, knowing that it's the conversation's being handled by AI. You know, in other regions, people don't want to know that it's AI. They want
Mm,
to know that it's a human that they're speaking to. So they become really offensive and defensive when they know that it's an AI bot. Um, what one of the strategies to be using is um, some APAC regions were really when they were deploying conversational systems, they would make the AI respond in the exact same way no matter the type of question. So if you ask, a retailer, "Hey, does this certain clothing is it in cotton? Because I'm looking for something that's 90% cotton, right? This jumper that's 90% cotton." It will respond in the exact way to say, "Yes, our product is 90% cotton." But I might be asking because my skin's, I've got some kind of allergy and I need it to be cotton. So therefore, I'm asking from more of a sensitive point of view, like, is this cotton? And then give my reasoning why. And again, the AI would respond in the exact same way. This isn't the most natural way to respond, actually, because actually it's not mimicking like a human. A human would come
mm,
with empathy. A human would come with a bit of reassurance, especially for me if I'm asking about it because it's a skin condition, right? So one of the ways that businesses can keep things as natural rather than transactional is to mimic a human as best as possible. Allow AI to have different responses per different requests. Nothing needs to be like categorized. uh,
mm,
Also, you have to give the option of different outcomes as well, so not only stopping with a declarative, here's the response and that's it. It's nice to have follow-on actions as well, so links to a website, links to different media URLs, for example, the ability to talk to a human agent if need be, um, and so on and so forth. So I think making it as natural as possible is by really, mimicking what a human agent would do and allowing the AI to handle the entire conversation. I
yeah.
think then people are more receptive to that.
Right, right. Because people don't just want fast responses, they want conversations that actually feel human. And that really highlights how AI today is not just about automation, but creating better experiences. So I know that there are people already chatting away in the chat box, sending in questions. Keep them coming. We're going to try to cover as much as we can later on during the tail end of the conversation. For now, I'm going to turn over to Paul. How do you achieve this natural approach at PesoRedee?
A lot of uploading of idioms, of messages that Filipinos use, the assembly of the sentences.
Hmm.
It cannot be, I do not want to do this. It's not like that. It has to be like, why do I want to do this?
Yeah.
Something like that. You have to convert that.
Hmm.
When you give messages that have sass, that have pizzazz, you can say those things. That would make it more human. One thing that humans do and AI can't do right away, right now, I mean, is personality.
Mm.
Give it. We're trying. We're attempting to give it personality.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to see how intentional the process is as well. They're natural conversations, but they don't happen by accident. There's so much thought behind it. The thoughtful design behind the scenes can create truly a much more seamless customer experience.
Yes,
Um,
like I said, it's a tool.
yeah.
You can make enhancements to your tool. You can
Mm.
add more features to your tool, but it's still a tool. It's not going to do anything by itself.
Yeah. Speaking of Paul, where does automation stop and human handover begin?
Our processes, particularly in our processes, when we see that our customers are going through the same questions twice already, we have gatekeeping in the system that pushes them upwards to the escalation process. They're automatically going to be sent to the queue that where our supervisors would be online with.
Mhm.
So there is still, like I mentioned earlier, there is still human
Yeah.
people controlling our conversations.
Right, right. Which goes back to our conversation earlier, no? It's a great reminder that AI works best when it complements people, not replacing them, and
Exactly.
finding that right moment for human intervention, as you mentioned, after two questions, if it gets repetitive already, you have that right moment for human intervention, which is truly crucial for the customer experience. So thank you, gentlemen. We're going to continue the conversation a little later on when we open for Q&A. So keep those questions coming to those watching us today. We've talked about so much already about how to design effective AI conversations. And of course, launching an AI assistant is only the beginning. The real value comes from continuously refining and optimizing those experiences over time. So let's talk through how organizations do that in practice. I'd like to introduce Manny Prakash from Infobip. Manny works closely with customers on the technical side of AI deployments and will share how teams monitor, improve, and scale conversational AI. So, Manny, hello. Tell us about some of the advanced AI tools businesses are adopting in Asian markets.
Thanks, Leah. Great to be here, firstly, with the Elite company of Paul and Julian as well. And good afternoon, everyone from Asia. So, on that note, a great first question here to start with, to start rolling things on. So, I think, like, when you say AI tools, I think it's worth stepping back for a second to clarify the landscape, because a lot of enterprises in Asia conflate very different things under the umbrella of AI tools. So we at Infoweb, based on what Paul has mentioned as well, when you started this couple of challenges, right? So we want to kind of do it slightly differently at Infoweb. So that's working closely with product and a lot of enterprises on ground. So we decided that like we will build things slightly differently. We will create these tools slightly differently. And to start it off with, at Infoweb, we kind of layered or like we want to create different layers of experiences. When a business creates some AI tools, and obviously all of these tools, we want these to be connected to a better end consumer experience, right? So that's what you see on the left hand side on your slide here, where we are trying to build a unified intelligence layer. So when you say communications and conversations today, there's different layers which we don't see, and this is what is displayed on your screen. So first is an experience layer, where a business wants to create some sort of experiences, or some sort of design templates or journeys that they want to send out to customers. So we kind of building tools based on an experience layer. We'll definitely see some of this in the next couple of slides, but then let me finish this first. And then there's optimization layer, where you kind of need to kind of score, predict, when you build some experiences in the experience layer, like templates, journeys, and whatnot, you need to know the right set of customers you want to send these messages to, right? So you need some sort of recommendation engines, prediction engines, that tell you, who could be that focused person you can reach out to. And then obviously with all of this, you have a data and learning layer, where you need to continuously learn. So coming from a product team, the biggest thing that we look at is like, we need to continuously learn, from the customer behavior. We need to enhance ourselves, when we're building products, right? So we need to have a definite, data and learning layer that understands the different behaviors of the end consumers, the different feedback loops, and, to, of course, train these models to kind of react and reach the end consumers in the best way possible. And then, of course, comes next the right channel. I've seen some questions pop out, where that are being asked to Paul, that what is the right channel, right? So we want to kind of also provide, an experience and guidance to a lot of businesses on what's that particular channel that you can reach out to end consumers. So Julian has also showcased some amazing stats on how Asia is doing across different chat channels, right? So we as a core platform, what we're aiming for is, or any brand for that matter, what we should aim for is like provide that experience to a business, training them or telling them the right channel that they could reach out to end customer. Because the experience that you could reach out in India to a customer on a different channel will be different to an chat channel that you want to reach out to Philippines, even North America, or Europe for that matter, right? So that's what we're trying to aim for. And then comes the last bit, which is the conversational layer. Once you reach out to your end consumer with the proper utility or a communication that you want to have provide or send from a business, you need to have an experience of a chat experience layer. An AI assistant layer is what we're talking about here. We have a lot of AI assistant, agentic setup that we're talking about right as of today. So what we're trying to build is a layer for this, where you have different sort of experiences that you can build in this conversational layer. So when it comes to AI tools, I think these are the main layers that one should consider. And just to deep dive a bit into this conversational layer, if you go into the next slide, we would see what happens underneath this conversational layer, right? So you have, we're all hearing a lot about what you're seeing in the screen here. So we're hearing knowledge assistants, knowledge agents, we're talking AI agents, and we're talking agentic, right? Just for me to kind of go deep dive into what these are, right? So first to touch upon, a knowledge agent is definitely something, as we all know, it's just a simple FAQ, agent, a simple pick intro, it picks from the knowledge that it's fed with, and, it's simply answering, you give it a knowledge base, the customer asks a question, and, it finds the answer and, replies with it, right? Straightforward, very high value, already driving results, and of course, large volumes. And when it comes to second tier, what we have, just to clear a lot of dilemma that's there in the market, right? So AI agents are a goal-driven, machine. Let's call them like this. So this goes beyond just answering questions. What happened in the first segment with knowledge agent? This goes beyond that. It's given a goal. It has access to tools and certain sort of APIs, and it can take actions actually. So just to give you real-time examples, can be loan eligibility checks. It can be audit tracking, and of course, all of this handled, in a way without a human in loop. This is a certain use case that is being very heavily used across Asia. Now, when it comes to third tier, which is where the whole frontier is heading towards, we're calling it the agentic AI, right? A broader ecosystem where agents collaborate to achieve complex objectives, meaning multiple AI agents connecting and emerging into a single ecosystem to do some extensive use cases. That's still emerging, but what we've noticed is that a lot of teams from India and Southeast Asia have already started experimenting. So what's really powerful about what Info is building on top of this is that we are building a CPaaS AI layer that sits underneath all of this. So we have, when you say experience layer, we're building something called as AI agent flow builder, which is orchestrating journeys, some send time optimizers, and of course, a data learning layer that feeds behavioral signal back continuously to improve performances, right? So, and just to give you all, when what differentiates AI is that it gets smarter over time. With by using or combining all of this tools, you can kind of make your journey smarter and not just stay static. So with that note, I think we can jump to the next slide where we can quickly see the video of one of the agent tools that we have built to build customer experiences to simplify user journeys for our businesses. So we can play this video now. Right. So just to give you an insight into WhatsApp flows are like a mini message type within WhatsApp that can kind of provide certain experiences. So what was happening before was that to build a mini web form experience within WhatsApp, it was very tricky. The first experience we built jointly with Meta nearly took 2.5 months because it has a lot of coding. We're talking about a mini web form within WhatsApp, right? So that's when we kind of ideated and built something called as this AI agent for flow builder. What you see on a screen is a prompt and build experience. So what was taking 2 to 3 months before can now simply be simplified into 10 minutes. So you write a prompt and the whole journey that you want to kind of send to your end customers is ready in 5 minutes. And this is exactly the live proof of how it happens. You created something using InfoWeb's ecosystem, and immediately you can readily trigger it right away to know the feedback. You don't have to wait for 2 months, 3 months now to kind of send this experience. So a tool that's been built to kind of fast track how and when you want to communicate with your end customers. So this is how we kind of building different layers of agent tools at InfoWeb.
Manny, why do you think these AI techniques are well suited and have been adopted in Asia?
Yeah, I think there are a few structural reasons why Asia is leaning faster than other regions. It's not just about the tech enthusiasm of going and looking at AI. The first of is it is channel reality. Just to talk, if you want to look at Europe and North America, so customer service has still a significant voice in email component. Whereas if you look at India, Philippines, Indonesia, and a lot of Asia, so messaging is actually the primary interface. So if you look at some statistics that Julian also showed, so WhatsApp is heavily penetrated, Viber dominates, in Philippines. So when you're building this AI customers for engagement here, you're building it natively into the channel where the customers already live. That's a big, massive advantage with Asia. And then coming to the second point, we have a volume pressure. So the scale of interactions in Asian markets is really, really huge. And then the volume that we're handling manually is not simply viable. So AI isn't just optional here, it's actually operational survival. And then third, we all can connect this to Asia. When we talk about Asia, it's the multilingual complexity, right? So just imagine a market like India has 22 official languages and, hundreds of dialects. And the same goes with Philippines, it has Filipino, English, and Taglish. And customers switch between them in conversation. So the LLM-based tools that we talked about are actually better suited for such experiences, and because they understand the semantic intent rather than exact keyword matching. So this is why I think Asia is definitely leading that curve. It's just not tech enthusiasm, but then the need to adopt and lean in faster because of these complexities.
So much opportunity. Manny, what KPIs will this impact the most, and what metrics should AI help influence?
To talk about the KPIs, so I think I would just bring in this particular slide, where if you look at the optimization loop framework, the starting point is always to monitor with AI. What you choose to monitor defines everything when you go downstream, right? So the first metric that I would prioritize is containment rate, meaning what percentage of conversations does AI actually resolve. It's really important to know this, and this should be the North Star where we all should begin. And if you can't answer this question, you don't have an optimization program today. You just have a deployment. And the second is that escalation rate. So specifically, why our conversations are escalating. The optimization loop talks about diagnosing failure at the intent level, a data level, channel policy level, and UX level. You see all of this in this framework that I'm showing here, and each of these has a different fix. So escalated to an agent actually tells you very minor things, and it doesn't give you the whole picture. And then the third is like a completion rate for flow. So our customers actually finishing the journeys we have built, right? Or they're dropping off, and where does this drop off signal to, right? So what is happening? And from a business lens, there's also this cost per conversation and agent workload distribution. Where are you human agents spending time on complex and high value interactions, or just basic queries, right? So the principle I would leave with the team or everyone here today is like, just run AI like a program, as you see on the screen. So monitor your drop-offs, diagnose, where it's failing, improve, like when it comes to training on how you uses your prompts, how your knowledge base is existing, and then validate the reviews. Obviously, repeat all of this, right? So this is how we are heading towards with AI. And this is going to be a continuous loop. Whether it's with communications or anything with AI, I think this is one of the successful formulas that would definitely work out going ahead.
That gives us a great look at how optimization turns AI from a project into an operational capability. Thank you, Manny. And again, if you have any questions for our speakers, do send it in the chat box. And for a complimentary one-on-one conversational strategy AI session with an InfoBip expert and a one-page infographic on conversational AI in Asia, key movements in the region, driving momentum and adoption, all you have to do to get that is click the banner on top. Now, let's share some practical lessons from organizations across APAC and India. What are the common pitfalls teams encounter and what should they prioritize early on? I'm bringing back Manny, Paul, Julian, gentlemen, welcome back. Perhaps you can talk us through a few key takeaways from real deployments in the region. Let's begin with you, Julian.
Yeah, I think I attested to some before, right? I think the first thing that organizations in APAC needs to look at is the documentation from your brand. Make sure that everything is hygienic, is clean, is cleansed. Because once you upload that into your knowledge base, this is the primary source for your AI to fetch information from. So I mentioned before, APAC businesses are renowned for having a bit more flair in their documentation, pictures, diagrams. But actually, what we have to do is go back to the basics and document it in text as much as possible, because that will help the AI with its retrieval. And like I said, APAC is the most dominant when it comes to asking for high accuracy retrieval, so making sure that responses are as accurate as possible. When we looked at other regions before, they're kind of happy with anything above 80% retrieval rates, right? That's acceptable by their standards. In APAC, yeah, it's 95% plus. So in order for that to be the case, documentation has to be really tight. And another thing as well is the consumers in the APAC region are renowned for having short patience. Yeah, they want answers immediately. They don't want to be waiting more than 10 seconds for an AI response, even if it's to a really complex question. So again, the AI, for it to perform as proficiently as possible and to be as accurate as possible, make sure your knowledge base is nice, it's tight, and it's text based.
Yeah, thoughtful planning early on can make a huge difference in how these systems perform over time. Paul, how does your team monitor and refine the AI assistant over time? You've mentioned that you've been refining, fine tuning here and there.
Yeah, so the chatbot that we have right now, we have embedded CSAT on at the end of every conversation, and we use that as the measure for how the chatbot is performing, as well as the agent. There are two separate measurements. You have a CSAT when the uh, agent would be resolving the issue, and you have a CSAT when the AI was the only tool used to resolve the issue. Those two measures are what we use as how we improve the performance. What were the mistakes? What shouldn't we say again? like that. So the boundaries of what the chatbot can do, cannot do, and the person should be doing instead. That's something that we are spending a lot of time on.
Yeah. The process of concept monitoring and
Mm,
iteration is really what helps keep the experience relevant for customers.
yes.
Manny, what is one mistake companies should avoid when launching AI?
Uh, I think treating AI as one size fits all deployments, right? So we call it the one what fits all trap. So teams that are building AI experiences today, right? So just remember that we're deploying AI. Especially just if I take an example of communication channels, we have a lot of communication channels that teams are deploying today. Some on WhatsApp, some on like voice, right? So sometimes in some regions, some on SMS and Vibers as well, right? So the reality is that like each of the channels have a different interaction pattern and different limits, different user expectations, and whatnot, right? So I think as an AI that works beautifully on WhatsApp can feel jarring and broken on Viber or some other channels, because each of these channels have their own set of superpowers and capabilities, right? So I think that's the first lesson. I think learn these experiences when you build your first journey. So like I said, run it as a program, learn these experiences, and I think whatever fits the best for that particular channel, I think we should be defining the journeys in accordance to that. So yeah, this is one mistake we have noticed, from a lot of businesses we talk to.
Mm, Not a one size fits all. Okay. Julian, where will Asia's conversational AI maturity be in the next 18 months from now?
Yeah, well, I mentioned before that we'll see more agents come into the frame. And what I think will happen is that these agents will become more responsible for the journey orchestration on behalf of the end users and on behalf of the brand as well. So what we'll see is agents, conversational agents coming in, and they will perform tasks like us being able to take a picture of our car dashboard when there's an issue, a warning light comes on, or go into a retail space and take a picture of some clothing that we like. And that conversational agent will be able to diagnose that car issue and say exactly what's wrong with the car from the branded agent, so the car manufacturing side, and also from the retailer conversational agent, it will be able to say, hey, look, really good choice. We've got this in your size and it's available. Here's an image of you trying it on. I think this is going to become more experience driven, and it will be handled by these agents.
Mhm. Very exciting outlook, and it really shows how quickly the region is evolving in this space. We've covered a lot today: the regional momentum behind conversational AI, a real deployment story from PesoRedee, and best practices for designing and optimizing AI experiences. And again, to our audience watching us, thank you so much for joining us. We invite you, please click on the banner above for a complimentary one-on-one conversational strategy AI session with an infobit expert and a one-page infographic on conversational AI in Asia, key movements in the region, driving momentum and adoption. Now we are going to open for questions from our audience. So let's begin. I think we have certain questions. For Paul, let's begin with, what was the trigger for your company to start considering an AI assistant as a solution to the problem? I know you mentioned challenges with human capital earlier on. What was the triggering point for you?
I think, and I'm assuming everyone on this webinar would be leaders or decision makers, and so I can speak freely. The cost benefit of
Mm,
human and chatbot, the the what you pay for retaining the people and what you pay for just having chatbots instead, basically and frankly speaking, they come up head to head, and we are a very forward facing progressive organization. We'd like to take advantage of anything that could benefit ahead of time, learn from it, of course, and create opportunities when that happens. So basically, what it costs us to keep the people versus the what it would be like when we're on chatbots. I think that was what finally pushed us to decide to have AI assistants.
Yeah, very brave of you also to take that step.
Uh, every first step would be the hardest step. I
Yeah,
think. I think.
absolutely. Yeah, and then from then on, you get the flow of things. Okay,
Yes.
next question. Um, this still goes to Paul, but gentlemen, Julian, Manny, anytime you want to chime in, please feel free to do so. What was the biggest challenge, Paul, in getting employees to use the AI assistant? You mentioned some, work that had to be done behind the
Oh,
scenes to get them on board.
okay. So getting to use them and helping us develop it myself, looking at it from a software development point of view, and them documenting what they take for granted. Okay,
Mm,
that's the prep work. That needed the roses and the chocolates. That's done. But right now, our interface, our remaining interface for customers is AI already. We don't have
mm,
we don't have frontliner people anymore. It's been like that for I don't know, a couple of months already. It hasn't been smooth sailing. And to be honest, right now we have some integration issues that's happening. I think it's on my end, and we just move forward.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you close the door behind you when you step through the next room.
Mm. Yeah, we have to take that step. We have to
Yes.
start somewhere. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm running out of time. I wish we had more time. Maybe we can wrap up with a final question, and then I'm going to go around each for Manny, for Julian, and Paul for your final key takeaways. Okay, what communication channel for employees interacting with the AI assistant proved to be the most effective? WhatsApp, RCS, or web? Paul, Manny, perhaps you'd like to take this
I'll answer
one.
first. Since we're already using that, our platform is web-based and mobile app-based. On both, we have widgets, so we're keeping that there for now. I mentioned earlier we are moving on phases. Our next communication channel would be Viber.
Okay.
We're gonna capture, lasso all the conversations into Viber and carry that conversation into actual conversational uh, media. Not the chat, not the widget, not the website. No, just what Filipinos use every day.
Yeah, yeah. Got it. Manny, Julian, any other thoughts that you'd like to add?
Maybe just to add from my side, I think as Paul mentioned, so what's working fantastically for them, for most businesses, since we have a wider audience here, I think taking an omni-channel approach would be the best. If you're trying to send your communications across different countries, because as I mentioned earlier, right? So there's a lot of end users, if they're operating from South Asia versus India, for example, they have different channel preferences. So if you ask me, I think I would take an omni-channel approach as a business if you're operating in multiple countries. But if you are operating in a specific country, the goal of in delivery and conversation ROI, I think we can stick to specific channels. So that's what I would add. Yeah.
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 And from my side, I agree with both Paul and Manny. This omni-channel approach, opening up to have different channels available to your audiences, because I said right at the top, right, as many options as possible for your end users is going to make you as a brand more sticky over time, because they'll be
Mm,
able to engage with you over different formats. But my other advice would be to test with live audiences. So there's one thing of testing your conversational assistants and agents within a controlled environment to make sure that you've got certain guardrails, they're safeguarding, etc. But I would say also test with a live cohort of people as well. So test it out in the open world, get real world feedback from people as to what they're seeing, what works, and especially what doesn't work, because that will give you food for thought for your further iterations.
thank you very much. And as we wrap up, any final thoughts, gentlemen, that you'd like to leave our audience for today? Paul?
Yeah, yeah. So on my end, uh, honestly speaking, AI is not for everyone. It takes a lot. of fuel to get this engine started. But what I'm happy to say is it's going to be a smooth car when it does get running, and instead of the driver, I am now the passenger of this project. I am happy to say that's what's happening right now. You can let go of the steering wheel. You just do weekly catch-ups. It's not going to be a daily escalation like we had before when we were still on the manual processes. And uh, the effort is worth it,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. Um, okay, one more question. Our audience really is very interested. Just came in the current AI chat box you are using, how do you verify customers, and do you use the same authentication process for each communicating channel? Any takers?
Yeah. So for our implementation with the OLP and PesoRedee, we have SMS OTP. That's how we verify. That's our gatekeeping mechanism.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Paul. Manny, final thoughts? Anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think just a final thought. I think don't ship AI as a destination. Ship it as a starting point. And have a system in place that would make it better every single week. Because the enterprises or the partners that are winning with AI aren't the ones that are launching the best version, but then they have an optimization loop in place. That makes them successful. So yeah, that's what I would want to close with.
Thank you, Manny. And Julian, final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts is to, it's so much fun working with businesses in the APAC region because you guys have all the conditions right. You have a hungry, high appetite population, but you also have the infrastructure behind it as well in terms of capability, in terms of the data, residency, etc. So everything is right for APAC companies to really progress with conversational AI. I would say really weave it into your marketing strategy, into your awareness strategy, and yeah, really grapple with it as well. Continue experimenting.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Julian, Manny, and Paul are awesome, awesome speakers for today. And to wrap up, what we're seeing across Asia is that conversational AI is moving beyond experimentation into real operational impact. Once again, thank you to our fantastic speakers and to everyone joining us today. You can download our Gen AI for Asia white paper by accessing the link above. This recording will be available on demand, so you can always watch it again at your convenience and share it as well. Once again, I'm Leah Guerrero. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any further questions for the team, please reach out to Julian and Manny. Thank you and see you again sometime soon.